Hey everybody, what's good? I am your boy Kevie the Dreamer.
I'm
And I am
Triboro,
with Morgan Hill.
and I'm
Sorry,
Triboro.
I should have gave y'all cues. It's all good. It's all good. We are family here. We are all members here of 80s, 90s, and 2000s vibes. Please check us out. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple uh, uh, podcast. I was wanting to say
Yes,
Apple Music for a
Apple
second. I'm
Music.
like,
Yeah.
wait a music.
hmm
Yeah, we are on everything. We are all over. So check us out, subscribe to us, follow us individually and with the brand. And today we are talking about top 10. Are we talking about top 10 music or top 10
Top
artists or
tens,
top
like
10
top 10 favorite songs
songs?
from
Got it.
soundtrack songs from Black artists.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So I will go ahead and start. I
Okay.
have somebody that I think is pretty underrated that takes me back to the 90s. I was actually jamming to her earlier, so I think that this is perfect. We'll just say number 10. We'll start off with her. Do you guys remember Sweet Sable?
I remember the name.
Okay, so Sweet Sable, I know you remember the movie, Above the Rim.
Yeah,
So
Mm.
the song Old Time's Sake, that's a
that's
bop.
the name.
That is my song. So unfortunately, Sweet Sable is no longer with us. She passed away a couple years ago. I think she had a chronic illness like scleroderma, something like that. But that song is like the perfect just throwback vibe. You know, it just puts you in the mood to just reminisce with your friends, families you haven't seen in a long time. So I definitely have to say for me that that is a perfect, not just throwback song, but a soundtrack record. You know. Like, do you
Mm.
remember that song, Quay? I know Burrow does. Burrow's a
Yeah.
true old head, but Quay, I know that you're a little younger.
Don't put
No
me out
shade to
like
either one
that,
of
Kevin.
you, because I'm a proud old head. Like, I'm not meaning
Mm.
that as shade. I'm saying that proudly. Do you remember that song, Quay?
I do not, unfortunately. It's not ringing any bells.
Okay, but you remember the movie Above the Rim.
I do remember the movie,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. So it's on that movie. I don't remember at what scene. It's been a minute since I've seen that movie, but it's just it's kind of like Why Don't We Fall in Love vibes. Kind of like it has that like gosh, I'm bad at instruments, but it's just a very laid back type of vibe. I'll send it to you after we're done. But if y'all out there remember that song, send us some love and send love to Sweet Sable. Rest in peace. One of my favorite songs. How about you, Burrow? What is one of your top tens?
My top 10. I'm gonna start with the man Prince from
Okay.
the Batman soundtrack, Bat Dance,
Mm.
and for people that don't know, the album originally was supposed to be Prince and Michael. Michael turned him down, and Prince
Okay.
ended up doing the whole album by himself in like a couple days or weeks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like this the songs like Party Man and Bat Dance and 200 Balloons. He had like the mentality of the Joker in mind when he was doing a lot of those songs. And I've always loved the Bat Dance track and the video where he's like dressed up as the Joker, and you got like the dancers dressed up like Batman, and it was just a crazy track. And I love like the different clips from the actual movie in the song, and that was a classic movie. I remember going to see that when I was little with Michael Keaton as Batman and Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and you had
Mm.
Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale, and it was just a great soundtrack all around.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It
Yeah.
I'm
is.
glad that you said that. Prince obviously is legendary. He
Oh yeah.
obviously if he is composing a soundtrack, it's going to be amazing. So that's a
Yes.
great one. I
Thank you.
love that. That's
Thank you.
Yeah,
dope. That was
right.
a good
That's a
that's
true throwback right there.
hmm
yeah, and that's probably my favorite Batman, I have to say. I know
Yeah.
everybody has their own personals, but for me
Right.
I think that's my favorite Batman.
Same. Same.
Mhm.
That's awesome. How about you, Quay?
Okay, so I feel like I have an unpopular opinion on this one, but I would have to say, like Mike, Bow Wow.
Okay, I like
Playing
that.
that
I
Okay.
like
song.
that
I
too.
feel like that
Yeah.
whole soundtrack was slept on, and it has some great songs. It has Solange and B2K. It had Mario on there and
Right.
Bow Wow, and that's when Bow Wow was like in his prime, and he was really putting out good music. They had the "We're Playing Basket," that
That's
was
immediately what I
that's a
thought of.
classic.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I
Yes.
felt like that was a great soundtrack in my opinion.
Yeah.
But when he sampled that song, that was great for me. I love that.
I have to agree with that. I You know, Bow Wow gets a lot of hate, but he is legendary. You know, you got to give him his props. Like
Mhm.
he definitely, especially for us as, you know, as black people, especially for us, he came in and he did his thing as a child star and he's still relevant, you know,
Right.
whether it's for unpopular reasons or not.
Yeah.
Definitely shout out to him. That's what's up.
Yeah, and then this year he apologized to Ohio at the Millennium Tour, so we're good. We're all
Did
good.
he? Okay.
Yeah, so
You
we
was
write
holding
this
that one
song.
against him, wasn't you, Quay? You was like, I'm not messing with him until I get that apology.
I was until he did that. Then I was like, okay, I still mess with you, Bow Wow. Now I'm gonna represent you.
Right.
I love it. That's a good one. So I'll go next. Let's see. I have to say, looking at my list here, I have to say, and we're not going in any particular order here, guys. We're just kind of just saying top 10.
Right.
But somebody that I definitely feel like is in the top 10 as far as soundtrack songs go, I have to give it to Love Jones. That soundtrack is amazing. I
Yes.
love that song,
Definitely.
or excuse me, love that movie. The love the song too.
Mhm.
But that movie that's first of all, that's my favorite 90s black romantic film, but romantic film, probably one of my favorite movies, period.
Right.
But I have to give a shout out to the artist. I want to say her name is Dionne Farris. Love her. If you guys remember her, shout out to her.
Mhm.
Her song Hopeless. I know you remember that song, bro. That
Yeah.
song is just top notch. Quay, you looking at me a little funny. You like, do I remember this song?
I know you got me thinking over here, like, damn.
Listen, if you remember Love Jones, it's the opening song on the movie. It's just,
Right.
you know, when we are introduced to, gosh, what is it? Nina, and I forget Lorenz Tate's his character's name. But yes, that song is just
Darius, I think his
beautiful.
name was
Yep, there we
Darius.
go. There we
Yeah.
go. Yep. Yep, because I was thinking of the poem that he wrote for. I'm like
Right.
a poem for Nina. But yeah, so that song that has to be up there. That song is just beautiful. You know, I'm always gonna keep it R&B for y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all might have a little bit more rap hip hop, but I always gotta
Mhm.
keep it on the R&B tip. So I gotta say that song. How about
Okay.
you, Burrow? You're up next.
Actually, I'm glad that you brought up Love Jones because I have the Lauryn Hill song, "The Sweetest Thing," and that's
Yes.
always
Oh,
been one of my favorite
Yes.
songs. And I always wish that Lauryn had put it on her album on
Mm-hmm.
Miseducation, and she never did.
Mm-hmm.
But that's always been one of my favorite songs from her, and she was singing, and the melody was beautiful. You had Wyclef in the
Yes.
video with her, and that was always my. I think that song fit the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a great song by Lauren. I think Lauren is a legend.
Yes.
Giving us like a classic. Her
Mm-hmm.
first solo album, and I've actually got to see her in concert before, and she
Okay.
killed it. She was definitely great. Shout out to Lauren Hill, and yeah, that's one of my favorites. I have to put on this list.
yes,
Yes,
I
I'm
love
glad
that.
that you said that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot that that was on that particular soundtrack. So I'm glad that I said that because
yeah,
that is definitely one of her best songs, and she is
yeah,
definitely an icon. She
definitely.
doesn't ever have to release another album ever. That
Right.
album, her debut album is just a classic.
Yeah,
Even the
Mm-hmm.
interludes are classic.
definitely.
Yes, I'm wanting to listen to that right now.
Right. It should be the background music.
Right, right. All right,
That's
Clay, what you
dope.
got for us?
Okay, so another unpopular one. I feel like
I don't feel like
you
the
got
first one
all
was
the odd ones.
unpopular.
Right.
I feel like I got all the odd ones. I feel like the stuff that I remember people don't really remember, but we'll see. So Tony Braxton, Let It Flow. That was from
Mm,
Waiting to
I love
Yes.
Exhale.
that one.
Yes.
That's a good
Y'all,
one.
Yes.
okay. So
Yeah.
y'all feeling me
Yes.
on that. All right,
Yes.
Yes.
all right.
Yes. I actually was going to have to say Waiting to Exhale. I'm glad you said that song. That's probably my favorite song from Waiting to Exhale. How
Yeah.
about you, Burrow? Do you have a favorite from that?
I actually got a favorite on the list. I got the Whitney
Okay.
Houston joint.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
Well,
that
I
one.
feel like there was like multiple Whitney Houston
Mm-hmm.
songs on that
Yeah,
soundtrack.
I think
yeah,
so. Mm-hmm.
yeah. She had like
Yeah.
two songs on it.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. That's perfect.
But I had another one on there too. It's the
Mhm.
Love Will Be Waiting at Home. Excuse me,
Yes.
y'all.
I forget.
that
No,
was a
I
good one
forget.
I
too.
forgot who
I
that was
forget
by.
which artist was that. I forget.
Was that
I don't
Shantae
know.
Moore?
Oh, I think that was. I think
Who
That
so.
might
was
be a
it?
Shantae Moore record.
I'm gonna have to look it up again,
Yeah,
but that was one of
I
my
think
favorites.
so. Shout out to Shantae Moore. She
yeah.
does not get her credit. She
Right.
is so unsung. She is, oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Yeah, love her.
Yeah.
Love, love, love her. That's a good one.
Yes.
All right, so let's
Ooh.
see. So we've said about what, 6 ones now. So I have to say, hmm. Okay, I have one that I have to throw in there, and it may not be quite this high, but that's okay because we just saying some of our favorites.
Mhm.
So from the Nutty Professor 2 soundtrack, I have to give it to Janet Jackson. I have to say, oh, I forget the name of that song now because I get it mixed up with I think it's Nothing Really Matters or Nothing Even Matters, something like that. I know you remember it,
I
Burrow.
know,
You
remember,
remember it,
yeah.
Quay?
Nothing really matters, I think.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Oh,
that
see,
song,
it's
Quay?
not. No, it's not ringing any bells because the only song I know like that is the Lauryn Hill one.
Right. So, and there's also, she has another song, Janet Jackson, on another soundtrack that's called like Nothing or something. It's like a Tyler Perry movie. It might be Why Did I Get Married? But this song, I definitely have to give her credit because it was on that cusp of when we didn't really know if Janet could keep her thunder going. You know, she's a
Right.
legendary icon. She had all of these albums, all of this success. She always was quote unquote in Michael's shadow. And then she released that song. And I was like, okay, Janet. And then she came out with not too long after that. I think it was actually on the album. She came out with All For You.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
That
I'm
was a
pretty
good
sure
album.
that it was on that album. I think. I can't remember, but it was very close to when that came out.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You remember All For You, right, Quay? I
I
gotta
do.
ask. I gotta ask.
I
No
do.
shade.
Like
Just
I
making
remember
sure.
the movies, but the soundtracks are not ringing any bell.
No, that's okay.
I don't think I
Sometimes,
really paid attention to the soundtracks.
Right.
sometimes for me, while we're on this subject, sometimes when I watch the movie, it's like I have the movie separate from the song. But like the song, I
Oh.
remember like the video, like the movie being in the video for the
Yeah.
album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like almost like it may not have been played in the movie. So
That's true. Yeah. A
Mm.
lot of the great songs on soundtracks, they don't even get played in the movie.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
Mhm.
very true.
Yeah, yeah, and there's some really good songs on there too. It's really slept
Right.
on.
All
All
right.
right, bro. What you got for us?
I got Ralph Tresvant, Money Can't Buy You Love,
Yes.
from the Mo Money movie and soundtrack.
Yes. Yes.
Again,
Ah,
Okay.
you remember that one, Craig?
I do.
That
Yes.
was a great one. I've seen New Edition live in concert, and like
Okay.
when you see them live, like they always break out and they do their solo stuff, each member.
Hmm.
And when Ralph when he does his solo stuff, he doesn't really do that song. Sometimes he'll do it. They mostly do Sensitivity. Yeah, that's the song
Right.
that people know him about for. But
Mm-hmm.
Money Can't Buy You Love was a great song. That was my favorite song from that soundtrack, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
great soundtrack. MC Light was on there. You had Luther Vandross, rest in peace. You had Janet Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great soundtrack. I think Johnny Gill was on that also. But that was like the one of the singles from the soundtrack, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, that beat was fire. And Ralph has always been a great singer, a great leader for New Edition. And I
Absolutely.
felt like he never really got the respect as a solo artist. It was BBD, it was Bobby Brown, of course, Johnny, but Ralph never really got that solo success. And I think this is like one of his big hits as a solo artist, and I loved it.
Those
Mm.
are really great points, and I have to agree with that
Mhm.
because out of all of their voices, his was my favorite voice.
Yeah,
And I definitely am with you. I feel like he was the most underrated of all of them because he didn't quite, I guess, maybe meet the mark that they met. But it's
right.
unfortunate because you compare his voices to like Bobby Brown's voice, and I feel like he can hang there. And
Yeah,
I definitely think that Money Can't Buy You Love. That's probably my favorite Ralph Tresvant song. I mean,
right.
Sensitivity. That's a bop
That
too.
was
But
good. Yeah,
yeah, but that's a good one. You you
thank you.
you mentioning some good ones.
Thanks.
Right. I feel like Try, you really did your research.
Absolutely, he sure did. He
He
sure did.
did
He
his
came
research. He was
prepared.
not playing with us
He's like,
today.
listen, y'all.
So my next one is "Take Me There" by Blackstreet and Maya.
Oh
You love
That's a
that
good
yes,
one. I
movie.
like that one.
yes,
That was
yes,
my favorite. Take me there. I want to
yes.
go there. Hey, oh my
That's
god!
a
Every
good
time
one.
I
That's a
hear it, you
good one.
cannot not dance to that song. Like,
Hmm.
Nice.
That's one of my favorite songs ever.
Yeah,
yes,
That's a great one. I did not think of that. That's a good one, Quay.
it's a good one.
yeah, and I love the music video. I love that they
Hmm.
were actually on the
Yep.
Rugrats set. Like that was
Yeah,
so dope to me.
Yeah, that just takes you back to when that movie came out. The movie came out, and we're kind of growing up, so we're like growing up with the Rugrats, and then we see Maya, who's you know, this beautiful woman who can sing, and then we see Blackstreet, who we grew up with them, and it's
Right.
just, and then you have excuse me, I started to say, is it Mace? Is Mace on that song? Mace is on that song. Okay, I
Mhm.
had to correct myself for a
I
second.
think what Blinky Blink was on that too.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
from Harlem World.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Mhm.
yes. And you know, I didn't know that that's where he was from until recently, until I started doing some research. I was like, where's Blinky Blink from? So
yeah,
that's what's up. That's a
Yep.
good one,
that's
Quay.
a good
That's a
one. Yeah,
good one.
like that.
I got to try to top that one, Quay. Because we getting higher. We getting to the top.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't think I can top that one, but I do have a really good R&B record that I have to mention. So from the Set It Off soundtrack, My
Oh.
Girl's In Vogue.
In Vogue. Yeah.
Yes.
Ah,
Don't Let Go,
yes.
Love.
Yes, that was a good
Yes.
one.
Yes. Yes. I have
That's
to
a good
mention
one.
that I'm an In Vogue fan. Like there's nobody comparable to the original In Vogue, the original four. Like I still love In Vogue to this
Yeah.
day. Shout out to them. But those original four, when they were together, those melodies, those harmonies, they all
Yep.
could blow. There is nothing like them.
Facts. Yeah,
That's
they were great, and I think that was like their last big hit before
Mm-hmm.
they
Yep.
before Dawn left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was their last song, and then they came out with EV3, which was supposed to be EV4, which I didn't know that until recently.
Right.
So and actually doing some research on them because I love them, I realized that I don't think that every song on that album actually Dawn was truly taken off of. You can still hear her on some of the songs because some of the producers was like, you're too integral to this group, we're not taking you off of here.
Right.
Like Babyface, for example, I want to say he produced Whatever, I think. And he did not take Dawn off of that song, which I think that's crazy because, you know, obviously she wasn't in the group at that point.
Mhm.
And Babyface, you know, being the legend that he is, he's like, I'm not taking Dawn off this record. So you can still hear her.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That's the same thing that happened with Bobby Brown on the All for Love album from New Edition. The third
Okay.
album, he was on the album cover. He's on the album, but he already left.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Did not
Learn
know that
something
either.
new. That's dope.
Right. Y'all schooling me.
I love it. Well, y'all, did we say 10?
I don't know. I feel
We
like I
have
got 2
two,
more left.
1,
Okay,
2.
y'all. Listen, y'all, if y'all are trying to keep up with us out there, we up here just naming we call this our top 10, but you know, we always have honorable mentions. So
I'm up to 3. I only did 3 so far.
oh,
3.
so okay,
No,
there we
I
go.
did 4. My bad. I did 4.
Got it.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was thinking we were doing 10, like all of us were contributing, but we're all doing 10. So that's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me, y'all. That was my confusion. Okay, perfect. So we up to you now, Burrow.
All right. So number 5, I got Mona Lisa and Mr. Cheeks. Can't be wasting my time from the
Mm.
Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking juice in the hood soundtrack.
Yes.
Yes,
The
my
Wayans
favorite
Brothers.
movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Wayans
I
Brothers,
freaking love it.
a great movie. I love the soundtrack. You had, people like Joe. I also got the Joe song from that soundtrack on my list as well.
Okay.
That was a big hit for him.
Okay.
You had Brand Nubian was on that soundtrack. You had
Yeah.
UGK, Ghostface Killer, Mobb Deep. So a lot of big featured artists was on that. And Mona Lisa song was like a hit single. And Mr. Cheeks was on that from the Lost Boys. And they took she sang over the Keras one, MCs Act Like They Don't Know beat.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge hit for Keras one back in '95. And
Okay.
I always loved it. I felt like that was like a true hip hop soul track.
Mm-hmm.
And Mona Lisa killed it, and I never really heard from her after that. But that for that one song, a lot of people remember that song, and it was a huge hit in the '90s.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite songs as well. And I love that you said that because I've been on a kick where these artists that you don't hear from anymore. And she's somebody that I wondered about because she was beautiful. Her voice was crazy. And she just had that whole like kind of like a Leah vibe going on, you know?
Yeah. Right.
So that's what's up. That's a good one. I love it.
Thanks.
So
quite like it's my turn.
right, like ooh, okay. So I don't really have a particular song from this soundtrack. Really, I feel like the whole soundtrack was a banger, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna have to go with "Get Rich or Die Trying" 50 Cent.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that one.
Yes, that was. I mean, it was hit after hit from Mini Man to what else was on there? Oh,
Window Shopper. Yeah, Window Shopper on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it was a lot of great bangers on
Oh yeah.
there. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have
Was
to
In
pull
the
this
Club
up.
on there?
No, that was on In the Club was on Get Rich or Die Trying, the
Got it. Got
album.
it. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And for the movie, you had Window Shopper. You had there
That's
was a
right.
Hustler's Ambition. That was
Yes.
another 50
Yep.
Cent track. You had I Whip Your Head Boy with 50 Cent and Young Buck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mace was on
Okay.
there. There was a lot of people.
Okay.
Oh man,
Yeah.
there was so many hits on there. You a
Mhm.
shooter. What
Yeah.
else? Talk about me. Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
50 was in his bag when he
He's in his
made that.
bag.
He,
Definitely.
I mean, early too. He had the music on lock, and who would ever thought? Now he got the movies, and he's out on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a powerhouse.
Oh
For
yeah.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
Shout out to 50.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
So, in the same token as you, Quay, I don't have like a particular song from the soundtrack, but this soundtrack was everything. And I remember when it first came out, I just replayed it constantly to the point that I had to get a new one. This was around like 2004. If I had to choose a song, well, first I'll tell you guys what it is. So, the Barbershop 2 soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks as
Mm.
well. If I had to choose a song from that particular soundtrack, I might say Sleepy Brown and Outkast. I Can't Wait. Just because
Mm.
Sleepy Brown's voice is, I love his voice and I love
Yeah.
Outkast.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But that's what sticks out to me. But I just remember the whole entire soundtrack was just crazy. I remember, so speaking of 50 Cent, Olivia, when she was affiliated with him, she was on that soundtrack. She had like
Right.
2 songs on that soundtrack. And I remember I was like, where do I know this chick from? And then she actually had a debut album like a couple years before that. So it was just
Yeah.
like a really, really awesome, really I actually just love that album. So I gotta say, I
Mm.
can't wait. Shout out to Sleepy
That
Brown.
was dope. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one. I never heard that soundtrack. I remember seeing the movie though.
It's decent. It's a
Mm.
lot of it's like a lot of like low key like R&B songs. I don't
Right.
remember a lot of the, again, like how we were just saying, I don't remember a lot of the songs being in the movie, but
Mm.
I remember the songs that I really liked on the album were just really
Yeah.
they had my iPod in a frenzy back in those days.
That's what's up. All right. Where am I? Number 6. I'm gonna go with MC8 Straight Up Menace from
Ooh.
Menace to Society. And
Okay.
that was a huge hit for MC8. And back then, New York wasn't playing, MC8. So and I actually like heard Hot 97 at that time play MC8 track, and it was that one. And I think that's what really put him on the map, with a broader audience. Like, they don't know the Compton's Most Wanted stuff from him, but when Menace to Society came out, I was like a huge movie, one of my favorite hood films.
Mm-hmm.
And Straight Up Menace came out, and that was like the perfect soundtrack for that film. And he was also starring in it as well, and that was dope. It was a great record, and like I said, like a lot of people don't know about MC8 from Cali, but
Mm-hmm.
that song to me is what that was like his breakout hit, and it's always been like one of my favorites of mine.
Mm.
That's the first song this whole time that I have to revisit. I know that I know it. I just have to
Mm,
revisit it. But I definitely
yeah,
remember that movie.
yeah, great,
Yeah.
great movie.
So I'm gonna have to say Stomp the Yard.
Oh,
They
okay.
had
That's
Okay.
Poppin', Chris Brown, of course, was on
Yes.
there.
I remember that.
Yes.
But they had Ghostface Killer, The Camp. Do y'all remember that song?
Yes, I
Yes.
remember that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I was rocking with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's one of my favorite movies also. Like I
Yeah,
love that movie. So
that was
that's a
good.
good one.
I know somebody that was in that movie too. You might have
Oh,
talked
okay.
to him.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to the Above the Rim soundtrack and I'm gonna say SWV Anything.
Classic.
Mm,
The what's it called? The old school remix with
Yeah,
the Wu-Tang Clan.
yeah.
Classic, classic.
Mm-hmm.
I love SWV. Coco, her voice is just phenomenal. And
yeah.
you mix her with like rap and just a crazy hook and just the beat. I'm sold. That's one of my favorite SWV songs, period.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great one, and that's a song like even with the version without Wu was still
Hmm.
great.
Right. Yes. Either
Yeah,
version, yes, it
yeah,
bops. I love it.
definitely love that track. Number 7, I got Patti LaBelle
Okay.
featuring Michael McDonald on My Own.
Mm-hmm.
That was from the Running Scared film. It was a film, cop buddy film with Gregory Hines, rest in peace, and Billy Crystal. You know, and they played like two Chicago cops, and
Hmm.
going after criminals. You know, cold Chicago back then. And I've always remembered that song. My mom used to play a song a lot when I was younger, and she was a huge Patti LaBelle fan. It's like Patti LaBelle was huge in the '80s after
Right.
leaving
Hmm.
the LaBelles and hooking up with Michael McDonald, and he had already left the Doobie Brothers, and he went solo, and it was a great collab, and a nice ballad, and seeing like an African American, star like Patti LaBelle with a Caucasian, star like Michael McDonald. And what they used to say, Blue Eyed Soul. He was doing Blue Eyed Soul, and it was a great R&B track. It's a great ballad. There's actually a video for the song too on YouTube,
Okay.
and it was great. A definitely underrated '80s film and the '80s ballad from that soundtrack, and I loved it.
You can never go wrong with Patty. Patty
Right.
is everything. Her personality, her voice, her artistry. You can never go wrong with her. I love Patty
Yeah.
LaBelle.
Oh yeah, a legend.
That's what's up.
And I love her pies. I'm one of them people that buy.
Right, right. That's right.
I've never had one, but listen,
Yeah, I never had
I'd
it.
love to try one.
Yes. And FYI, please read the directions on there. Those pies are not done. Y'all have to stick them in the oven. It's around holiday season. Just got to put that disclaimer out.
Yes, yes.
So my next one is going to be Tarzan, Phil Collins.
Okay,
Ooh,
that's a good one.
okay.
Yeah, any particular song or just the whole soundtrack?
Oh man.
Because there's so many. I got to tell y'all my favorite once I hear what y'all's are.
Okay, I'm trying to remember the name. Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's the other one? I feel like there's another one. Help me out.
Is it more of a ballad or is it more up tempo?
Ballad.
You'll Be in My Heart.
There we go.
That's what I figured. That's a great
You'll
one.
be in my heart.
Mhm.
Y'all about to have me in my
Listen, y'all, when this YouTube episode comes out, you can perform with us. You can have your own little concert.
Okay. And blast it for me, okay?
Love it. Do you have a favorite song from that, Burrow?
Tarzan? Is this the animated one or the live action one?
Oh, so the animated one. I didn't think about the live action one.
I saw the animated one. I don't remember no song from the soundtrack though.
Yeah, they all kind of run together. My personal
Phil
one.
Collins though?
Nah, I don't remember that one. I like the animated one. It was a good movie.
Yeah, it was a little dark for Disney, but yeah, it was
Right.
good. My favorite is the opening "Son of Man" because it's just a coming to man song, and those just always get me. So I know you remember that one, Quay, right? "Son of Man."
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's my listen. When Phil Collins hits his bridge at the end, I'm like, okay, Phil, that's Blue Eyed Soul for real.
Yes,
Like
definitely.
I don't know what like exposure he's had or what something's in his DNA, something there. Like
he got a little bit of seasoning.
Right, he's got some kind of special sauce there, something.
That's funny.
Oh gosh, let me open up my phone real quick because I was just doing it off the top of my head. You know what? Something just came to my head, so I'm gonna say this. So from Waiting to Exhale, there's so many that we can say from that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say Sitting Up in My Room.
I love that song.
Brandy.
Yeah.
Brandy is, so for everybody out there, I will go on record saying this. Brandy is my ultimate vocalist, like modern day vocalist. I don't know. Right. I wouldn't compare her to like Patti LaBelle or somebody like that, but like recent Brandy, like, oh my God, her voice is just crazy. I love her. And that's probably one of my favorite Brandy songs. So I gotta say that song.
Same. That was great. And the video too. I love the video. She had Donald on in the video with her.
Yeah. And then the opening where she's singing Shoop and she's in her bedroom and
right.
Yeah, that's good times. It always made me wish I could be a teenager then. I was 5. I was like, dang, why couldn't I have a good 90s party to go to? But we having 90s parties now, Quay. We making up for that.
Okay.
All right, I got Naughty by Nature, Uptown Anthem.
Ooh.
From the Juice soundtrack.
Yes.
And originally, I think that was for the 91 self-titled album, and then it was given for the Jew soundtrack, and
Okay.
when that soundtrack starts off, that's the first song on the soundtrack, and I thought it was a great record. And
Mm-hmm.
Tretch was actually in the film,
That's right.
with Pac, and him and Pac were like best
Mm-hmm.
friends, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a great record. I love the beat. You had Tupac in the video for the track as well, and later on, I think when they reissued the '91 album, they ended up putting it as like a bonus track. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But always been one of my favorite Naughty by Nature records, and I think it's a classic song.
Yes, they are legendary. I forgot
Yeah.
about them. I'm glad you
Oh
said
yeah.
them. That makes me think of my dad. He
Oh
loved
no.
them.
Yeah, man, they were great. I saw them in concert like in 2000, and they
Okay.
killed it. Like they did all they hit records. The crowd
Mm-hmm.
was crazy. It was bananas.
Oh, I love
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so this wasn't really a soundtrack. It was more of like an album to a TV show or a movie, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay.
It was Men in Black. Men in Black
Yeah.
had
Oh yeah.
an album
The
that so
soundtrack.
Yeah, that's a
That's the
soundtrack.
soundtrack. Yeah. The
Yeah.
soundtrack.
It was Will Smith. I remember
Mhm.
the song with Snoop Dogg on there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh
That
that
was
was
that
really
was Snoop with
sweet.
Jermaine Dupri, and I think Genuine was on that.
Yeah, we just want to party with you. That's what
Yes, that's
it
the
was.
song. Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
that's a memory unlocked. I forgot
Yep.
about that.
Hmm.
Listen, y'all. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a good one. That was a
Oh
good
yeah.
one.
That's
I
a
love that
good
soundtrack.
one.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my next one is gonna be this probably if I was
Wait,
truly
are we on
rating
number one?
songs. I think we're at number
Yeah,
2,
I
right?
got three more. I got three more left.
3 more. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Oh,
Okay, good, because there was one that I wanted to say, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to say it. So okay. So
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I have 2 from this artist.
Mhm.
So Aaliyah, I gotta say try again.
Yes, I love that record.
From Romeo Must Die.
Definitely.
That
oh.
she just was a trendsetter with that, like what is it? She broke the radio airplay record. She went number 1 based on I know you could say it better than me, bro, because I was young at the time. I think
What?
it's like based on radio spin, something like that.
She went. I think she broke a record with "All You That
Okay.
Somebody," and
Okay.
then with "Try
Got it.
Again." Yeah.
Right. But either
Mhm.
way, whether she broke a record or not, that song was a bop. We will give her credit for that. Her and
Right.
Timbaland together were just magic.
Yep.
And Aaliyah was just on her A game at that point. Like she is so missed. She is one of my favorite artists of all time.
Facts. That's a great one.
That's
Definitely.
a good one. I like that one.
I like that one. My number 8 for me is Joe. Like I mentioned, All the Things a Man Won't Do.
Yes.
Big hit
Ooh, what you
record.
know about that?
Yeah, I knew about Joe like when he first dropped his first album, but I felt like he was slept on then in '93.
Yes,
And then when he
yes.
drops this record in '95, I'm like, yo, that's when he really blew up. Everybody started to
Hmm.
bump his stuff, and he just kept coming out with hits. But this song from Don't Be a
Yes.
Menace was a great record, and a great ballad.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of women could relate to what he was singing about on the song as well.
Hmm.
And I love the beat, and the video was great. Definitely a classic Joe record.
Joe is very underrated. I love that you
Mhm.
said him. You actually unlocked something for me. I forgot that he had an album in 93.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad had that album. And I just remember when he became bigger, when he had the song with Big Pun.
Yes.
I remember
Oh yeah,
that.
still our player.
Yeah, there we go. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember when that started.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that was, before or after the song that we're discussing on the
Yeah,
soundtrack.
that was like 98.
Okay, there we
97,
go. I knew it was
yeah.
like around that time because I remember he was just starting to get, noticed,
Yeah.
and his voice is so smooth. And I actually just thought about him the other day, like, where is he
Mhm.
at? He's a legend. His voice
Yeah.
is amazing, and I feel like he's kept himself together, and I hope that
Definitely.
he, still making music.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe. He
And
is.
when
And he's
people
still
say like
trying to
R&B
do
is
it.
dead, I'm like, Joe is still doing music after 20
I
something
felt
years.
like it. Yep.
He's still
Got
dropping
you.
heat, and he still sounds great like he first came
Mhm.
out in '93. So R&B is not
Love
dead.
it. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, and he's still fine to this day. To
Right.
this day.
Shout out
All
to
right.
him.
So my next one is 8 Mile.
Okay.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Okay.
Eminem, of course.
Yes.
Mhm.
Lose Yourself. I would say Lose Yourself.
We're gonna make an exception for M because he technically he white, but he got soul in him though. He got soul.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
Right. But he's a part of hip hop. Can't
Yes,
knock him.
yes, facts. Yeah, that was a good
Okay,
record. He got an
so
Oscar for that too.
He
yeah, yeah,
did.
you're right. You're right.
Hmm.
And I want to
Yeah.
say that's when he really like blew up. That's
Yeah,
when people started really paying attention to him.
facts.
Yeah, my
So
little brother loved Eminem. I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember my little brother was like maybe 5 or 6 years younger than me, and I remember my mom getting him the clean version of the album, and I'm like, "Mom, really?" They like you couldn't tell him nothing about Eminem. Like he would be
Right.
rapping that stuff. I'm like, "Oh my lord!" But
yeah.
yeah, shout out to Eminem.
It's great.
Okay, we got two more. So
Cool.
I know one of them. I got to think of my other one. Oh, I know one. I know one. Okay, so this whole soundtrack as well. But if I had to
Mm.
pick one song for me, if I had to pick one song, okay, I'm gonna do it like this, y'all. So the soundtrack is Space Jam.
Great soundtrack.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to say for me personally, I'm gonna have to say for you I will because I love Monica. But if I have to say like if we were really like doing like a like an official greatest songs, it has to be I Believe I Can Fly.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't mention that album and not mention that
Exactly.
beautiful piece of work. And look,
Yeah.
for everybody listening out there, I'm not saying that I endorse R. Kelly. Let me throw that out there.
Hmm.
But you cannot take away his talent. That man,
I agree.
he's got a legendary, talented, blessed pen, and that song is beautiful. So,
Facts.
but if I'm saying for me, I gotta say Monica. That's my girl. I love Monica. That voice is just and she was how old singing that song? My lord. When she came out in 95, she
Yeah.
was what, 14?
Yeah.
Something
Yep.
13,
Something like
14.
Hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. Sounding like she was
Yeah.
ground, talking about Miss Thang.
Yeah.
So I just have to ask one quick question, Kevie. So the versus battle, who did you have, Brandy or Monica?
Oh, you know
Mm.
what? This isn't going to be a popular answer, but I had both of them because I love them both. But if I have to pick somebody and I have like a gun to my head and I have to pick somebody, I have to say Brandy because I feel like Brandy's had more success, but I
Right.
love them both. I love both of them. They both can sing. They both are equally talented. But if we had to say who is going to win in a battle, I would have to say Brandy.
What?
But I love
Okay, Troy, who
Monica.
you got?
I had Brandy, but Monica. I listened to more Monica albums over the years than Brandy. I think Brandy
Right.
after Full Moon, maybe I wasn't really listening to her stuff. But Monica, even in the 2000s, she was still coming out with great albums.
So
That's a great point.
how could you
Yeah.
be a Brandy supporter?
I mean,
I think
I
because
love
we're
both of them though.
logistics. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
both
think
of them
we're
are good.
logical and we understand like how it I don't know how I'm trying to say it, but like when you're in a
Right,
battle, like
right.
but I have to agree with him as well, Quay. Monica, like I was a Monica fan. Like my dad knew that I loved Monica. I remember I made my dad when I was 8 buy The Boy Is Mine, the album, and I took
Yeah,
it like it was
that was
mine.
good.
Like I loved her. Like I remember when The Boy Is Mine, the song came out, I was like, Team Monica. Like she's
Yeah,
so pretty. And it's like Brandy's not ugly, but
right.
Mm-hmm.
But so who you got, Quay? Since you
Monica.
asking us, who'd you
Monica.
say? Monica. Okay.
Okay.
That's what I
I
kind of
have
figured.
Monica all day, y'all.
Yeah.
Can't lie about that.
And what I like about Monica, she was, even though she was like in her teens when she came out, but she was like singing about grown women stuff,
Right.
Mhm.
and
Hmm.
she never shied away from that. Whereas with
Right. Yeah.
Brandy kept it Disney and she kept it real clean, and Monica was like, "I'm from the hood. I'm gonna sing
That's a
about
good
whatever."
point.
Yeah.
That's very true. She was very much more mature,
Hmm.
Mhm.
especially her songs. Yeah, that's a great
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good point.
So y'all, are we to number one?
I'm at number 9.
That's right, because
Mhm.
I started. Okay, I
Yes.
was getting excited. All right, I want to hear your number 9, bro.
All right. Number 9 for me is Bobby Brown on Our Own.
Okay.
Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack. Love
Yes.
that.
Mm.
Soundtrack was a classic. You had New Edition on there, ironically. You had Run DMC.
Okay.
Dougie Fresh was on that soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Brown had 2 songs on the soundtrack as well, and they played both of them in the movie. And he also had a cameo in Ghostbusters 2. And I mean that song, when I think of Ghostbusters 2, I think of On Our Own. Like the
Okay.
video done in like Times Square, and you had
Mm-hmm.
different celebrities in it, and that he was still a big huge star for R&B and pop at that time. And that's a great record, man. I loved it. I think Babyface produced that as well also. Great record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Babyface. You know he's still doing
Yes.
his thing. Quay loves his new album.
I love it too. It's a great album.
See, Kevie? See, I
You
Look,
told
got
I
you
was
gotta
gonna
check it out, Kev.
I was gonna publicly say it. I'm more of an old soul. Like I
Yeah.
listen to it. Shout out to you, Babyface. If you ever hear this, I love you.
Mhm.
I just can't. I can't get with like the new. Listen, I'm gonna sound
I
like a
know
grandpa.
it's
I can't get
weird.
with the newfangled
I know
lyrics.
because when I was looking at the track listing and I'm seeing he's doing stuff with Seven
Right,
Scooter and
Mhm.
LMA. I'm like, I like some of them. Some of them I don't
right,
know, but I think
right.
he's trying to reintroduce himself to the younger generation.
Yes, but I will say he did a great job doing
Yeah,
that. Like that, that's so, like he's reinvented himself. So shout
yeah,
out to him.
Mhm.
oh yeah.
He is a legend. And if I had to say, I remember liking one song. I think it was the very last song. I'll re-listen to it.
Okay,
I'll go on record and I'll say I didn't like Beyonce's newest album the first listen either. So
okay.
Yeah, but you gotta
just to
listen to
save myself,
it.
listen, because
I
somebody's gonna
love
be
the
like, you
fact
don't like Babyface?
Yes, I love the fact that he gave them girls a platform. Some of them
Yes.
girls, are
Yes.
not A-listers.
Hmm.
Like Coco Jones, that song was dope.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
Cindy, that was
yes.
Just
good.
She
like
is so talented.
Hmm.
I can't wait
yes,
for her to get her shine.
Facts.
She's
exactly.
amazing.
And just for him to put her on that type of platform to be with him,
Yeah,
Yes.
Ari Lennox,
yeah,
K
Love her,
Lion,
love her, love
he
her.
had
yeah.
some
Hmm.
powerful girls on that album. Money Long,
Hmm.
he
Love
did
her
his
too.
thing. Babyface
What's
about
your
to
favorite Babyface album if you haven't have one?
Mm.
this
Okay,
one.
if I had to pick a favorite album, I don't know the name of it, but it's the one from 1996. It's the one that had it had that had the cover with LL Cool J and Jody Watley.
Oh, For the Love in You.
There we go.
Yeah,
That
the
was my
day.
favorite album.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a good
that's what I thought it
album.
was called.
Hmm.
I think for me, because I remember the 1993 album,
For the Cool
because
in You.
I also remember the older stuff from the 80s. Because
Yeah,
my dad, my dad, that's where I get my love of music. Rest in
right.
peace to him. But um I just remember my dad like being, I guess, compared to age 3 to 6, because
Yeah.
in 1996 I was 6. So I remember him playing that album, and I remember like I love Jody Watley, so I think that
Jody
just
Watley,
having
yeah. Her first
have
solo album was classic. I love that album.
oh yes, love her, love her.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would say that album. That's gonna
yeah,
have to be my pick.
definitely. For the
Yeah.
Cool in You, that's my favorite one. He had For the Cool in You on there and
Okay,
Never Keeping
Mm.
Secrets.
okay.
Great album. What was it? What's the other one? When Can I See You Again?
Yes.
That ballad.
Yes.
Oh,
That was a
that's a
great,
memory
yeah,
unlocked right there.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shout out to you, Babyface. We love you.
definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
Come on the show, Babyface. Come on, we be waiting on you, baby.
Yeah.
All
Who's
right,
next?
Quay. Who you got?
Oh, it's me?
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Okay,
you.
so Magic Mike.
Okay.
Okay.
It was the Backstreet Boys song. I want to say I Want It This Way. That's what it was.
That was a good record. That was a good record, yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Genuine. I was like, she's about to say Pony.
That was a good record
That
too.
too.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shout out
this
to
is the
Genuine. Shout out to the
Yes.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask y'all this because this recently came up on my timeline. Who do y'all have in a battle, maybe a versus against Backstreet Boys and NSYNC?
I'm gonna say In Sync because I know more of their songs, but I
Same
wasn't
for me.
really like I'm a Justin
Same.
Timberlake fan when he went solo.
Right.
But like
Same for me.
watching TRL all the time, them and Backstreet Boys were always on TRL at number
Mhm.
one. So I've seen a lot of their videos, I do like a lot of their songs. Gone was a hit record,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Bye Bye Bye, and
Hmm.
what's the one where they're like in the psych ward?
Oh gosh.
What's the name of that song?
Ooh.
I know what
But
you're talking about. Yes.
yeah,
And then I remember I think it was right before JT went solo.
mhm.
They had a song with Nelly. I remember that era.
Girlfriend,
So
yeah,
yep, there we go.
Mhm.
that
Yep,
was a great record, yeah,
I'm with you, bro. I'd have to say the same. Who you got,
yeah,
Quay?
Backstreet Boys.
That's who I thought you were gonna say. That's okay. Shout out to them.
yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to AJ. Like
That's what's up. All right, is it my turn? My number
Yes,
one.
number
Okay.
one.
So my number. Well, excuse me, my number 10. I'm off. Excuse me, y'all. I'm in sync with them. Excuse me to y'all listening. Okay, my number 10. But in my mind, my biggest record that I would say, like if I had to say a top uh, song on a soundtrack, is gonna have to be Aaliyah, "Are You That Somebody?"
Yes.
Hands
Mhm.
down,
Love that.
hands down. I'm sorry, like actually, sorry, not sorry. First of all, that song is I would have to say that song might be my favorite Aaliyah song. I love Timbaland. I think he's such a genius.
Hmm.
I love his productions, and I just love him with Aaliyah. I love him with R&B singers. When he does something like with Justin Timberlake,
Right.
with Tweet, all the people that he's worked with,
Facts.
there's just something with their melodies. And
Mhm.
just Aaliyah, the Dr. Doolittle soundtrack is just so
Hmm.
nostalgic for me. Gosh, who I was on that Burrow. I can remember it off the top of my head a little bit. I remember Aaliyah was on there, Genuine.
Genuine.
Yeah.
Love that song, Same OG. Shout out to that song.
Hmm.
Um, I can't think of it right now, but there's so many people that are just blurring in my mind that
It
were,
was all about Aaliyah on that soundtrack. So
yeah, like she definitely was a star. Rest in
Mhm.
peace, Queen. But that
Yeah.
soundtrack was just from top to finish, like, yes, that
Yeah.
that's my
Mhm.
top. That's my top
Love
song.
that. I didn't even think about that because that would have been number one for me too. Easily.
Okay.
Number one for me is gonna be Whitney Houston. The Shoot song,
Yes.
Exhale.
Yes. I
Love
love it. I
that
love it.
record.
I
That
love
that
it.
record is like there you go. They played that everywhere when that came out. Like that was like the number one
Okay.
song for like '95 to me. You know,
Okay.
she had another song on the soundtrack. She
Mm-hmm.
starred in the film as well, and
Mm-hmm.
she's the queen to me. Like she will always be missed. Rest in peace, Whitney Houston.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. There is
Great
no
record.
voice like Whitney. There is
Facts.
nobody touching her voice,
Yeah,
period.
man.
Mm-mm.
Babyface produced it as well, and it
Mhm.
was
Yes.
a great classic record, classic ballad.
Love it.
All right now. So my number one or whatever 10
Mm-hmm.
most favoriteest song of all
Yes.
times is going to be "Say Hello to the Bad Guy" from American Gangster, Jay-Z.
Oh,
That
Okay.
whole album, that whole
nice.
soundtrack,
Okay.
I like
Okay.
that
that.
was like one of the greatest, in my opinion, Jay-Z albums, even though
Yeah,
it wasn't his album.
definitely
But
Yeah.
for
the
sure.
American Gangster was timeless, classic, all of that.
Oh yeah,
I
no
love
doubt.
it. I love it, y'all. Do y'all have any other like honorable mentions or any songs that you kind of thought you couldn't mention? Because I have one that I have to say. I'll let
I
y'all.
got Ice T, New
Okay.
Jack Hustler from New Jack City.
Yes, that's a good one.
I love
That's a
that.
good
And
soundtrack.
I wasn't a huge Ice T fan as far as rapping,
Mm-hmm.
but I've seen more of his acting stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
that song was like that. That was
Yeah.
like the theme song for New Jack City, and he was also starred in the film, and
Yeah.
he did his thing in that film. That was a classic hood film. So that definitely was an honorable mention. And like I said, like Aaliyah, "All You That Somebody," I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song in 1998 to me, hands down, I love that. Rest in
Mm-hmm.
peace, Aaliyah. So those
Mm-hmm.
are like my honorable mentions.
Okay. How about you, Quay? You got any?
I do not.
Okay,
Unfortunately.
so since he said New Jack City, I got two. So one of these could be yours, okay? I got you.
Okay.
You pick which one you want. Okay, so my first honorable mention is Ghetto Superstar by Maya from
Yes,
Bulwark, I think is
Yes,
how you.
with
I love that
Praz
song.
and
Yes,
ODB.
that's
Prize,
mine.
Prize.
Definitely.
Yes, Prize
Mhm.
featuring who
ODB
else?
and
ODB.
Maya.
Yes, I started to
Yeah,
say that. There we go. Yes,
that
that's
was
my
great.
first honorable mention. My second honorable mention is I Want to Sex You Up by,
Oh,
oh
Color Me
gosh, what's
Bad.
that group? There we go. Color Me
Color
Bad.
Me
I was
Bad.
like,
Yeah.
I know their name.
Hmm. That was
Yes.
also on New Jack City.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yes. When you said that, I was like,
Mm,
hold up. I got one.
Hmm.
Yes, y'all.
I love it.
Yes.
wow, some throwbacks for real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like they don't make soundtracks like that anymore.
They
You
don't.
know?
They
Mm.
don't.
Matter of fact, do they even make soundtracks for real? I
I
think
mean,
the
they
only one
still,
I heard
they
recently was
still
Black
like
Panther.
the last good soundtrack I heard was the Black Panther soundtrack.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was the one with Kendrick, and he had like the whole
Right.
TDE roster on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think SZA was on the track, The Weeknd.
Yes.
But they don't really make soundtracks like that anymore, especially like our, for our films.
Right. Right. It's such a whole new era. Like they don't
Yeah,
even do video treatments anymore. We're talking about these videos and like the cameos from the artists and stuff. And
right.
it's just a whole new day now. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why we gotta appreciate these soundtracks now and talk about them like we're doing on here now. So
Absolutely,
mhm.
yes. So shout out to all the artists that we said. Guys, if you are out there listening, please let us know if we missed anybody.
Yeah,
Please add us. You can at me at Kevie the Dreamer. Quay, what
and
is your handle?
It's Quay Morgan Hill. Quay Morgan Hill.
She's got the sign right behind her to make
Like
it
that.
easy. Burrow, where can we find you at?
And you can find me at Triboro_Gigolo on Instagram.
And we are all a part of the at 80s, 90s, and 00s vibes. Spelled out exactly how I just said it. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. We have podcasts, each one of us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts fixed, wherever podcasts are streamed. We have had such a wonderful time with you guys today. We've had such a wonderful time with each other. We can't wait to do this again. We're all family here. We love to be nostalgic with you guys. We love to remember the good old times. We love to take it back to when times were simpler. And if you guys have any suggestions for us, any ideas, anything that you want to hear us talk about, you let us know, add us and follow us. Please subscribe. And next time we'll catch you right here.
Yes.
Right. Hold on, wait before we go. We got to do a toast. Grab y'all drinks.
A toast. I got my, what do I got here? I got my pink Moscato.
Hey,
oh, we matching with the red cup.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. Yes.
80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Yes.
Woo. Ain't nothing
guys,
like that.
Thank you so much for being here. We love you. Peace and blessings. Catch us next time. Take care.
Yes. This was great, yo. I love this.
That was awesome. Yes.